Trailblazers from the Astral Express? Oh, please excuse me. I struggle to think of an appropriate way of addressing. I've already made the necessary preparations. Be careful. We did pass the safety inspection stipulated by Article 027, damage Paris, and Article 076, the wasteland. This streamscape will feature armed veteran gamers. Gordon's type of game may thrill dream. If you're into that kind of thing. If you feel any discomfort, please leave the dreamscape immediately and seek professional medical help. Luckily, I just so happen to be an excellent doctor. I'll be at a site.
The nature of this memory is special. In my estimation, there is no question about it. This is murder.
Murder. Such a foreign word to us. The people of Penacony could, in a dream, even if you're bashed 1,000 times with a hammer. And worst, you'll still wake up in reality in a hotel.
Not necessarily. Even if the result does not constitute harm, the criminal intent is clear enough. You specifically came here to cordon off the scene because of the unsavory nature of this case, right?
You're not wrong. Even if there are no casualties, being smashed over the head with a hammer in the middle of the street for no reason at all? This is not the kind of thing that happens on Penacony. You are guests of the Oak family, so you may investigate the crime scene. I'll be on standby over here.
Are you a witch? Just how did you manage to convince them in the blink of an eye that we're some kind of detectives?
Just some suggestions at the memory level. If something happens in everybody's memory, then that something becomes a fact. Rather than hearing endless explanations, would you like to experience it for yourself?
No, no, no! Hey, you can save that for the enemy.
Then, on to the next order of business. Let's discuss your companion, shall we?
Memo Keeper of the Garden of Recollection. I've been watching you for quite some time. You stole a glance at me when you first entered the hotel. You followed me wherever I went inside the dreamscape. In the windows along the commercial street. My dear, do you have a crush on me? Well then, seeing as you're so interested in me, let's play a little game. I left a puzzle for you near OT Mall. Solve it and prove that you're capable of pleasing me. Don't leave me waiting, my dear. Before Penacony gets flipped upside down,
actually more than one memo keeper who's come to Penacony. She's mixed me up with someone else. But no harm, no foul. The address that the mask gave you is right here. But you never would have thought that when Miss Sparkle mentioned a game, such a direct act of provocation is enough to get my competitive side worked up too.
Madam, forgive me. I had no idea about anything she said. As you saw, I went through a brain scan. I'm just a friend, helping her deliver a letter. That's all. I never knew this was actually a declaration of warfare. They say you shouldn't kill the messenger. So...
What a frightened look you have. Don't worry.
Oh... Seems like I can't escape being an assistant detective.
If there's anything you'd like to know, please ask away.
Where's Mr. Shamari right now?
I'm afraid you can't. The Oaks came forward and calmed him down. Mr. Shamari expressed that he understands the unpredictable nature of dreams, and wanted best not to bother him. Guest experience...
Oh, I'm afraid by the time we find him, half of Penacony will have been sent back to reality by Sparkle.
Looks like we'll have to play this little game of sparkles then.
Lady Black Swan, you're here! I'm the constable, and this here assisting me is the bailiff, Mr. Coldfeet. What?
So they can talk after all. Miss...
Don't interrupt, I wasn't talking to you. I understand Lady Black Swan has quite
The Sparkle murder case? Wasn't the victim Shamari from the IPC?
You're wrong, Lady Black Swan. The victim is evidently none other than the matriarch of the Goldhammer family.
Oh, I guess Miss Sparkle has written herself into the skit here, and this has nothing to do with the actual case.
Never heard of it. Sounds made up. Sparkle doesn't sound like a real name either.
Miss Sparkle was supposed to receive 3 valiant warriors at the Goldhammer residence today, but upon their arrival, all they found was her body. Miss Sparkle had been smashed over the head by a hammer and died on the spot. Such a brutal act of violence. My investigations discovered that the 3 warriors were supposed to escort supplies back to their territory the day before. They narrowly escaped and barely got away with their lives, finding their supplies almost completely raided. So they all shared a motive for killing Miss Sparkle.
So the 3 of them teamed up to kill her.
Is the case closed?
No, there can only be 1 murderer. It's not an unsolved mystery if there are 3 murderers. Hang on, wait.
If you can't justify it, don't bother.
Got it! Those 3 were all vying against each other to be number 2. They could...
That actually doesn't make much sense. Even if they were on bad terms, those 3...
Please begin your investigation, Lady Black Swan. There are lots of clues at the crime scene that are sure to help you apprehend the real culprit. I've got the case file right here. If you want to learn more about the suspects, talk to me. Lady Black Swan, allow me to introduce the 3 suspects. Lifton is one of Miss Sparkle's chief lieutenants, whose right hand was unfortunately severed while he was valiantly fighting off the Annihilation Gang. He's now learning how to write and hold a fork with his left hand. How tough that must be! Then there's Zhongshan. This guy's a coward who ran away as soon as a group spotted. Last of all comes Right. This guy was so insatiably greedy that he still came back to try and embezzle the rest of the supplies.
Hang on, I'm confused here. Left on? Right? Is this some kind of joke?
What? Where did you get that idea from? Do you need me to go over it all again?
That won't be necessary. I've memorized every detail.
No wonder you're a memo keeper.
Look, an ID card. Talent Motivation Department, Shamari. Is this the victims?
Mr. Shamari's belongings should have disappeared alongside him as he woke from the dreamscape. The fact that this ID is here means Miss Sparkle placed it here on purpose to prove that she definitely attacked someone.
Holy moly!
Miss Sparkle also used it to attack Mr. Shamari.
I'm barely able to lift this using both hands. I have no idea how Sparkle could ever use this to hit a target. Is that all the evidence? How are we meant to solve this with so little to go on? Oh, you scared me! When did you pop out?
The two pieces of evidence that you found are related to the attack on Shamari. Miss Sparkle didn't leave them lying around for no reason. They're clues to the puzzle. But there are still some other clues that were placed in other areas, so they won't spoil the crime scene.
Isn't that a bit unnecessary?
No. It's disruptive to have a stack of irrelevant things crowding a crime scene. Miss Sparkle is a law-abiding citizen who'd never bring extra trouble to the family.
Seems quite nice of her, if you ask me.
Looks like Miss Sparkle is adding a little spice to the investigation. Let's take her up on her offer, then. What's this little device here for?
Don't push it, Lady Black Swan. That's the mutually assured destruction button that Miss Sparkle installed. Once pushed, Miss Sparkle and the entirety of Penacony will instant. Miss Sparkle also has her own button. The second she pushes hit.
That sounds like both buttons can do the exact same thing.
Correct. Exactly the same.
Oh,
Aren't you going to ask me why?
okay. Why?
Because she is fair.
This is What's this?
Regardless of why it's designed to look like the conductor aboard the Astral.
Have you ever heard of something called a red herring in detective stories?
I see. But when it's so...
That's just in case you didn't realize the ingenuity of Miss Sparkle and were worried about her throwing out a...
I see. Thank you.
You don't have to play along that hard, you know.
This notice.
That sounded like a story from ancient times.
This is so her style, is it? Doesn't look like there are any more clues. Let's head back.
Next, should we pin down the identity of the perpetrator? This evidence. I've been staring at it all day, but there's nothing left in. That guy lost his hand. Remember Zhongshan's face was disfigured after the incident at the cliff? Right? I remember this one best. Right has a broken leg.
Why don't we flip the question and start by asking who couldn't be the murderer? After all, there are only 3 suspects, so elimination...
If you put it like that, then do you already have someone in mind? Tell me, come on. So, who exactly it left in that guy Oh, is that so?
Based on the bailiff's statement, Lefton's suspicion level can be downgraded.
So, who exactly is the... I remember this one best. Oh, is that so? 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 So, remember John... Oh, is that...
Poor guy. That would suggest that...
By process of elimination, it seems that only Wright could be the murderer.
Please begin your investigation, Lady Black Swan. There are lots of clues at the crime scene that are sure to help you out.
the murderer is right.
You have answered correctly! As expected, you didn't disappoint, Lady Black Swan. Game will stipulate that...
Huh? The next puzzle? I didn't sign up for this.
Looks like the key to winning lies not in the puzzle itself, but in the motive.
I have to remind you that Sparkle is a masked fool? Do you plan on finding logic in the mind of a masked...
That's exactly what I plan on doing. Even if it's just subjective, there must be... Right now, let's follow her train of thought and head to the next puzzle.
why are you so focused on Sparkle's challenge? Or should I ask, are you more focused on Sparkle herself?
I told you, it's purely out of a spirit of competitiveness. And as a memo keeper, I also have to fulfill my responsibilities and harvest some interesting memories. Make a wish.
Serenade the glow. Get your tickets.
Whoa, this place is a complete mess.
Oh, Detective Black Swan and Detective Sampo! You finally made it!
We don't know what we'd do without your help.
Why are you talking like that? Is this some sort of artistic performance?
Is there something wrong with the way we are talking? Deputy Sheriff, am I talking in a strange way?
Oh, of course not, Sheriff. The way...
The skit this time is a modernist one.
Let's discuss this difficult case then. The victim is a galactic business...
Her again? Sparkle really is obsessed with scripting her own.
Oh, for the laughter. Miss Sparkle came to the fashion after a long time. The shopkeeper went in to see what was going on, but instead discovered Miss Sparkle's body. There were 3 suspects on the scene, namely a Pepeshi shopkeeper named Wright, a Foxian gambler named John.
Our old friends.
It's not just to aid your memory. We've added more descriptions to help tell them apart.
Miss Sparkle is so gracious.
Based on surveillance footage, witness testimony, and various pieces of evidence, the killer is ultimately among...
You're too lazy to be...
Oh, for the laughter! If I talk any more with you...
Detective Black Swan, the dossiers are over here. Let me introduce the identities of these suspects. First of all is the shopkeeper, Wright. He's one of the Pepeshi people, and on next up, you have the merchant, Lefton. He wants to... Finally, there is the gambler, Zhongshan. He lost a bet to Miss Sparkle, and he had to hand over his family. That's all the information we have. Do you need me?
Sorry to interrupt your dreamscape experience, but don't worry. I'll replay the records for you.
First of all is the shopkeeper, Wright. He's one of the Pepeshi people and only stands as tall as Sparkle. Next up, you have the merchant. Finally, there is the gambler, Zhongshan. He lost...
There's an accounting book lying on the ground.
On the title...
This Jian Katong per. And there...
That skit before said that the deceased...
The tag on the tie reads...
That's not how you use the word imp. So, it's just like the first case then.
Miss Sparkle doesn't want to distract your investigation.
She doesn't want to distract our investigation? A little stool that seems quite...
The footprints, which are...
Perhaps it's just... What's that smell?
Mr. Sampo,
Somebody's sick.
even among the fools I know.
Have you dealt with many masked fools before?
No, only a handful. After all,
This clock is...
open it up and take a look.
There's a ring inside. This is evidence too. Why was it planted inside another device?
Because this ring was found inside the victim's mouth. We want to reconstruct the scene of the crime.
In the victim's mouth.
Hey, there's something engraved inside the ring. Zhongshan family heirloom. That should be it. Let's head out.
I have to thank you, Mr. Assistant Detective, but the puzzle this time is pretty strange.
Have you found out who the killer is?
Just some shallow intuition. Anyway, let's report back to the sheriff for now.
Serenade the glow. Get your tickets for Robin's Life in the Song concert while they're on.
Oh, for the laughter! Didn't think I'd be...
Pretty much.
You live up to your reputation, Detective Black Swan.
This guy is Mick.
Then go ahead. Who is the killer? And what evidence do you have to prove the case? Good. Then let us appreciate your...
Here's the Penacony News.
This guy? Zhongshan.
This ring is a piece of...
That's right! What would a penniless... He'd stolen Lefton's... Who could have known that Miss... What a tragedy! If it weren't for your incisive detective work, the murderer would still be at large.
Is something wrong here? This is too easy.
As you can imagine, the conclusions that the evidence points to are not mutual. Mr. Assistant Detective, please feel free to point out...
Ah, I see. Sheriff.
Correct, Detective Sampo. I never thought...
Sheriff, the murderer is
Yes! For the laughter! How did I fail to realize
then. Right from the start, there was no murderer. The evidence is the ring. Whatever, I'm just spitballing here.
Goodness me! Deputy Sheriff, is he really a genius? How could such an
Look, Miss Sparkle has given us a puzzle where every single answer is correct.
Why take it so seriously? Miss Sparkle is a masked fool, not a masked genius. If it's a challenging puzzle you want, please go out there and turn right until you get to the Intelligentsia Guild. We're only responsible anyway. Since our genius detective Black Swan has...
So that's it? This is just going to go on and on forever? We can't do that.
Then I wish you both the best. Oh yes, if you're not in a hurry, I can tell you the answers for some of the outcomes you never chose.
Become part of the family. Raise a glass and enjoy feasts fit for a king. Harmonize.
Just as you said, solving puzzles is all just a cover for something else. That girl is toying with us. What should we do now? Just keep getting led around by her?
Miss Black Swan, Mr. Sampo, you're finally here. A murder in a locked room has left a...
As expected,
Yesterday, my assistant and I were visiting the famed artist Miss Sparkle, and we stayed the night. But the butler, Jean Shan, said that the door was locked from inside, so we ought not to have disturbed her. But as soon as I heard, I knew something must have happened. The room was covered in spattered blood. Thinking quickly, I grabbed the artist canvas to staunch Miss Sparkle's blood, but... alas! Besides us and Zhongshan, the butler, left and the cook, and Wright, the driver, were...
Presumably, Miss Sparkle is now carefully arranging the next crime scene, right? Why don't you skip all this rigmarole and just have a heart-to-heart conversation with me? It might tickle.
Wait up! Wait up!
Honest kid. I know where you are, Miss Sparkle.
No cheating!
Huh. Mr. Assistant Detective. You seem to be getting anxious.
No, it's... This locked room murder case is pretty fun. I want to guess who it was.
Let's go. Can't keep a girl waiting, can we?
Hey, Miss Black Swan, wait up! Wait up! Miss Sparkle has one final... Ding-a-ling! Now comes the most exciting and romantic moment in any drama. The audience challenge. Everyone knows that the mighty masked fool Sparkle can change her appearance to look like others. And in this drama, the villain Sparkle has disguised herself as another character. I put to you, which character is it? Also, if you're interested in the locked room case that the memo keeper ignored, you can try out your powers of deduction. I put lots into coming up with the puzzle, so don't let it go to waste. Thus, the masked genius Miss Sparkle has thrown down the gauntlet. All the clues are in motion. Have